What's going on, everybody? We got new setup going on. I hope you guys like the quality a bit better. It's not my laptop anymore making weird electronic sounds. All right, let's get to the content. This is going to be about what is happening after Pulse Chain. A lot of people are all excited for Pulse Chain, but once it gets here and once we see some gains and stuff like that, what's kind of happening more long term on not a roadmap per se, but things that you may see in the coming years after Pulse Chain. So I do have a list of things that Richard put out a while ago on Twitter. I'm kind of going off of that. This is kind of like his roadmap of what he wants to do. It's not like an official roadmap that he's beholden to, but that's stuff that he wants to work on, and you can kind of think about, oh, what are the implications of this? If this comes to fruition, then that means we're going to have this and no one else will have this. And so there's lots of cool stuff like that that Richard is hiring devs for that is making like the best stuff in crypto. So pretty exciting stuff. So let's get into it. Let's see. Here's the image. Let's move myself over here. Oh, I'm getting still new. Okay. All right. So as you can see at the top, we got the test net. We got the V2 out. All right. We're gonna have these are the things before Pulse Chain launches, but then once that's over, then we'll go into what's afterwards. So we got go.hex.com working with phex. That's not out yet on the test net yet, but we got bridges after that. These are things that are going to happen before launch. So if you don't see these things done on the testnet, launch is not ready. The bridge code is done. They just haven't released the URL to try it yourself yet. I think Ballet Brand has an interview with the bridge developer. If you want to check that out. The Uniswap V2 front end that just dropped yesterday or today. And you're able to go in and here I'm gonna make a video on doing testnet stuff because there's gonna be a lot of stuff on testnet before launch, very important stuff. Let's take a look at that. So it'll be, if you want to go and figure it out yourself before I make the video, you can just go to look up pulsechain.com GitLab, not GitHub. And you can come here, and it's really easy. You just set up a MetaMask, and you put this stuff in. I was on testnet v1 doing stuff and using the faucet. It's really easy. It's really simple. You just plug this stuff in. All right, let's get back to, we'll put this here, and then we'll cover that up. All right, so you're probably wondering, why does he have that video up? Well, Richard talks about what the process is before launch, and he also mentioned something that I don't think many people have been talking about. Is that the block explorer there is we already have that, that's done. But right after that it says post MVP. But funnily enough, PulseSwap code is already done. So the trading PancakeSwap fork, that's already done. And we are going to see that on testnet before launch. We're going to see the PulseSwap code working. So we're going to get all that game theory and tokenomics figured out for you guys before, even sacrifice phase. Hopefully it's before sacrifice phase. It'd be weird to sacrifice and then you get to test out the tokenomics. So you might be seeing that soon on testnet. So you guys are going to... That's why I want to make that video so you guys know how to get on there and test it out yourself. Now let's watch the video of Richard talking about it, just so you guys aren't like, oh, he's just making that up. No pulse swap before mainnet, but here we go. Check this out.
You're gonna have a gradual release of things until mainnet. So you're gonna see go.hex.com working on testnet, Ethereum, well, it works now, and on Pulse Chain. You're gonna see working Uniswap front end, which is already done, on Pulse Chain. You're going to see working what's called PulseSwap now, but it'll probably have another name. And then as soon as you see those all working, and the bridge, which also is on testnet, you're going to see Pulse mainnet launch. So I've been saying 2 months for a while, but maybe it's a month and a half now.
All right, so you heard it from Richard's mouth. PulseSwap before mainnet. You will be able to try it. How awesome is that? We're gonna get to see all the game theory and people seeing the pools and some percentages. Ooh, that's gonna be fun stuff. So I'm definitely gonna make that video showing you guys how to use the testnet because I don't know, it's interesting to me, but I figure some of you guys will want to try it, and then you're not maybe super tech savvy, so I'll make an easy video for you guys. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty, the stuff after PulseSwap you guys might be interested in. So we're most likely going to launch with PulseSwap at launch. You know, it's possible that the the harvester bot just goes in and gets 99% of the the PRC20s and just holds them and doesn't launch PulseSwap until like the next day and then it deploys it. But I don't see why you would wait. Like just have the liquidity there day one with everything else. I'm just saying it's a possibility because the fixer bot doesn't have to deploy it day one just because it harvested it there. It can just hold it and deposit it later. Just a thought, but I think it will launch day one. Richard is building a PRC20. Here, let's get rid of this. PRC20 ranking site because there's going to be 10,000 new coins, 10,000 plus new PRC20s from all the ERC20s. So it makes sense to record all the prices of those things, and if some of these bad coin ranking sites don't list them, then we're going to have to list them ourselves. So maybe he already has a website ready he wants to release and hasn't talked about it, because I know he likes to just launch finished products and not make promises. But this may be like, a few weeks after launch, after things have a more, more liquid pairing and some price discovery has happened. All right, so we got that. Let's see what Richard is gonna work on a wallet, a better Web 3.0 wallet, better than MetaMask, because I don't know if anybody's used MetaMask. Probably everyone watching this video has. But don't you hate when you go to estimate the gas fee and it does it wrong, failed transaction, and you lose like $50, $100, $150, That's pretty stupid. So he knows that the MetaMask software sucks, so he's gonna make it better. Like the sorting features in MetaMask are terrible. You can't sort by all your tokens, and like you have to add them all manually. It's really bad. So he might make a better wallet, probably more secure as well. So that's something to look forward to in the coming months, maybe years. Maybe it might be a year out. There's no time frame on these things. The next thing would be a cross-chain AMM bot. Not AMM bot. Cross-chain automated market maker. And I looked into this. There's no cross-chain automated market maker yet on the market. Like it doesn't exist. There's something with something called Moonbeam on Kusama or something like that, and they're like working on it to get it working, but they only have a couple pairs or something. But he wants to make something that would allow trading basically assets on other chains, but on Pulse Network. So you're able to trade those ETH pairs over there with Pulse fees. So you're paying pennies for transactions to trade Ethereum assets and even other chains, other major EVMs. And this works for all EVMs, basically. It's not developed yet, but if Richard Hart team were to develop the first one, that's just huge for Pulse Chain, and being it just basically wrecks Ethereum, because then if you can trade everything on ETH on Pulse Chain without ever having to bridge even, because that's the problem right now is you have to bridge in some assets and bridges only work for those assets, not every asset. With a cross-chain AMM, if it were to be developed in the future, you would just be able to trade those pairs on Pulse Chain for pennies, less than pennies, and why would you be using ETH? That's like the super kill shot. That's like the double tap. You're just like, bye bye ETH, boom, get them again, because we got we're stealing all our liquidity with PulseSwap, and then we're just killing them again later once we get the cross-chain trading going. Why are you using ETH, bro? I don't know. So that's pretty exciting. All right. After that, there's going to be more bridges. Like at the start, we're going to have some bridges for major ERC20s and Ethereum. You can bridge those in, but he wants to include like Bitcoin and BNB and bring that stuff over in that order, like it says on there. Then we got a network upgrade. He's talked about this a couple times, but no one really cares. It's actually kind of a big deal, actually. I looked into it, and they're going to port from Geth to Aragon. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what the heck are those words? Well, basically, it's node software that it's just way better than Geth. And people have been running it on some of their nodes, like on Ethereum, and it basically allows you to sync up within like sometimes hours instead of waiting like days or sometimes like weeks and months to sync up a full like archive node for Ethereum. So being able to sync up your nodes faster and it also uses like half the hard drive space. So it basically makes development on PulseChain even easier. So developers are going to be drawn to working on something where they don't have to wait weeks and months, maybe sometimes days, I guess if you have a really good internet connection or something. But I've heard stories of just like it's taking me weeks to sync up this node. I'm trying to do it for my project, but I can't do it. Like I've read so many things about people just complaining about how slow it is to sync up. Well, Aragon fixes that. Speeds it up. You have less hardware costs because it reduces the amount of storage required to sync the chain. So it's just a really great upgrade. And so if we can get to that, that just means more development on PulseChain, more enticing, get developers. That means there's more projects. That means more users. That means more capital flowing through. More demand for all these tokens on the PulseChain. So that's kind of coming down the pipeline in the future. A Uni v3 front end. I don't know how Richard is getting away with this one. I don't know if this is legal. I should look into this even more. But they have basically a software license on their front end software. So I don't know if it's going to be like put up anonymously or whatever, but I did hear some story that they're going to be like he's going to have somebody work on it and then like present it to Uni v3 or to the Uni team and see if they'll allow it to be deployed or something. Like maybe they'll just, to make it work on PulseChain, I'm sure there's some coding involved in making it work over there, so they may create it and just like be like, hey, Uni team, this is created. Do you want to just deploy this so people can use your system over there? They still have control over it, over the contracts, and so they may just allow it to be used over here. So that would be pretty cool. The next thing he's thinking about working on is a stable coin plus an exchange that Richard is making in Europe. So I've heard him talk about potentially like, he might make some sort of stable coin with like crazy game theory as well, like instead of just like an exchange stable coin, but he might also just do both things. It's Richard Hart, You can expect much from this man and still be amazed. Yeah, you will not be let down with Richard Hart. He also wants to make a better AMM aggregator. And so instead of like 1-inch, he might add that feature of aggregation into PulseSwap. Because like, why would you make another exchange to be an aggregator if you already have PulseSwap with all of these pairs and liquidity? You would just be like, all right, now it's also aggregating from Uniswap, and any other DEX that pops up will just be aggregating on PulseSwap. Why not? Another awesome thing that Kinetics is working on from Discourse Syndicate, they're soon to be releasing a Hex Trust company that basically can trade. It trades on like brokerage exchanges. So if you've ever heard of Fidelity or something like that, people can buy this public company, buy shares in it, And all this company does is buy hex with like basically money from investors, and then basically they lock it up. They even lock the hex, and then they're able to like set it out 15 years, and it's just like Grayscale. So Grayscale basically buys Bitcoin if people buy shares of Grayscale and they buy Bitcoin, and then the people who bought shares in Grayscale can't actually sell the Bitcoin. They just kind of hold it for a while. And so it just basically creates this entity that just always buyer, never seller. I've used that term before, but Richard finds ways to create, well, it's not actually his idea, I guess, but Kinetics and them and people in the Hex community basically realize how important it is to have always buyer, never sellers. And if you can figure out ways to implement that into your coins, you have price up, up, up. All right, so let's see here. So yeah, Kinetics is going to release that soon, and it's on the normal stock market. So people with like IRA accounts, 401ks, they can invest that huge, like all of that money is possible to go into this now. So, and people in the stock market are going to see this company going like, and they're going to see it, and it doesn't really look like crypto. It's its own like company thing. I mean, people will know what it's actually doing, but they're going to see the gains and be like, I want a piece of that. So it's pretty huge. They're pretty smart for setting that up. It's kind of a genius idea. You saw what Grayscale did, and they were successful. You can do it with Hex. Why not? Probably do it with Pulse even as well. So that's that. The next thing is margin trading. So Richard has often joked about activating margin trading for Hex would be hilarious. He would love if someone would develop that, because they would try and short it and then they would just get wrecked and end up having to fill their short higher and buy Hex higher. So maybe he's going to make a decentralized version of margin trading. That would be pretty cool. That's something to look forward to. And Tornado.cash fork. I have a little... If you guys haven't heard of Tornado.cash... How do you... There we go. This is the basically front end for Tornado.cash, and what that is where people can send in basically Ethereum, and you're able to anonymize your coins, and then it spits out your Ethereum. You can wait days, months to increase your anonymity level to move your coins to another address. And it tells you all how it works and everything. And there's also a Hexnado, which is a forked version of it that they already have created, where you can actually shuffle your Hex around in this basically big anonymous pool of other Hex coins, and then you like pull it out after a while, and now you have anonymous Hex, and you can also do it with ETH. Now the only issue with Tornado.cash is that it depends on your anonymity set. So if there's only like one coin in there and you put in your 1 million Hex and then you pull out 1 million Hex, well, they see that there was no one else in there but this one coin, and you put in 1 million from this address and you pulled it out. It's obvious, like it doesn't matter if you mixed it up with that one coin, like you had more than what was even in there. So the issue with it is we need more incentivization for people to provide the anonymity set, so that we can all basically have privacy of our coins. The reason privacy coins don't work is because they don't pump, because there's no like real incentive, because no one really needs privacy right now. But when governments and people start hunting people down based on blockchain data, maybe people will start valuing their privacy more often, more strongly. But I think there's a way where if you were to create an incentive structure, and more simple ease of use is important. It's a little more complicated than like a normal thing you would do in crypto, because you get like a special like phrase you have to keep that's separate. Then you have to like use it. You have to wait a few days. So if you were able to make a better incentive structure, like so well made that you would actually be making like sort of like a high yield, like in Tornado, you get this coin called Torn whenever you provide liquidity, like privacy liquidity. We'll say it like that. Um, but basically, if you look at the chart for Torn price, like it went from it's just down. So like you still get some value, like it's better than nothing, it's some incentivization. But imagine if like there was really good game theory added to an anonymity set coin. Basically, if it was competing with everything else and it was just as good yield-wise, but you also get privacy on top, it would have a huge anonymity set because people want they want that yield, and they're getting privacy on the back foot. So it's just kind of like a 1-2 punch, and then if you make privacy easy, then everyone's got privacy. Sorry, bump that. And so that's something that he may want to work on because he likes privacy and he doesn't like that, chain analysis and government agencies are, cracking down a bit on blockchain data. So that would be super cool. I talked about the trust company, and that's awesome. So those are some awesome things you have to look forward to for Pulse in the future after PulseChain and other Richard Hart projects. So if you like that, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Follow me on Twitter, K for K Crypto. I also have a Telegram now. Got a few smart guys in there who joined pretty early, and we're talking about game theory and stuff in there. And new ideas for videos pop up all the time with some questions I hear. I'm just like, whoa, I didn't think about that. Okay, awesome. And then you get the ball rolling with that. And more minds are more powerful than one. So I love talking to people about differing ideas and strategies. So check it out. It's at t.me / Pulse Theory. So check that out. It's in the description as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm hoping to do some live streams with some other hex skins in the future, and you'll see me around. All right. Peace out, guys.